Yes, everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to the match review for Manchester City 0, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Well, where do we go from here, eh? This is not what I was expected to be feeling on this Sunday afternoon. It did not go how I expected, how it was planned to go yesterday. You know, all that optimism, all the excitement for the game, for the new season. It's just slowly being drained out of me already. You know, of course, look, I am exaggerating just a little bit, but before I get into talking about that game, I hate half-12 kickoffs. I'm just going to say that now. I hate half-12 kickoffs. There is not a worse time to lose a game of football than 12:30. Your whole weekend is just put a downer on it. Any time you get a little slight bit of happiness, any bit of joy, any good feeling, it just hits you. Oh yeah, he's lost. You know what I mean? It just ruins it. Takes over. Football takes over. It's been back 2 weeks. Restart it. Can we not restart? Look, yeah, yesterday it did not go as expected. I think, I'll be honest, I'll hold my hands up now and say I may have got slightly carried away. I was just so excited, so looking forward to City being back. It's felt like forever since I've seen them play. You know, that summer went on forever. I feel like it was just because we hadn't won anything last season, and it was just that we're not used to that feeling of recent times. We're so ready, we're so used to winning. It was like, I wanted to get it started, get the season started quick. Let's win our trophies back. And, you know, that first game was so brilliant against Wolves, and I didn't get tickets to it. So my first game was Tottenham at home, and I was so excited for it. And we just didn't turn up. To put it brutally honest, it was a pretty appalling performance from Manchester City. I think head to toe, we were poor. You know. I think Tottenham, I'll start off by saying fair play to them. They deserved it. Were they brilliant? No. Did they have to be? No. City we let ourselves down. We somewhat beat ourselves, didn't we? I feel like we just strayed. We just played straight into Tottenham's hands. Played straight into their hands, you know, with the little arguments, the little fighting on the sides, and you're 2-0 down and you're getting frustrated at them wasting time. We were playing straight into their hands. It wasn't good from City yesterday. It was not good. Now look, the thing is, it's Tottenham. It's always Tottenham. We always lose to bloody Tottenham. And Thomas Frank, by the way, I said it before the game in my matchday vlog. I said I'm sick of Tottenham, and I'm sick of Thomas Frank. I said it has all the recipe of being a slip up of a banana skin, you know, because Thomas Frank always finds a way, whether it's Brentford, Tottenham. I feel like he could end up being a Denmark manager and he will somehow find a way of beating City one way or another. I don't know. It's so annoying. Thomas Frank always has a way. Tottenham, no matter the Tottenham side, no matter the City side, one way or another, they find a way of beating us. It's so frustrating. And look, at least we've got it out of the way. It's sort of maybe a blessing in disguise that we've got Tottenham out of the way for now, and we don't have to play them again till later in the season, because I don't like them. I really don't like Tottenham. I really don't. I'm sick of it, and it's because they've beat us. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing about them. The fans were decent. As far as the players, they've got quite a likeable squad, and if you compare them to the rest of the big six, I think I prefer them to the rest of them, to be honest, and I don't like them. So it's, you know, it speaks for itself about the rest of them, doesn't it? But yeah, look, I'll start off by saying I think we might have got slightly carried away, or at least I did anyway. I'll quickly touch on the whole game first before I start speaking about individual performances, because there's a few that I've noted down that I want to remind myself to speak on. So, I mean, the game itself, to be fair, look, we had chances. Tottenham had chances. Statistically, I mean, I've not checked, but it seemed like it'd be a pretty even game. Probably both had even shares of the ball, even shares and goals, and I don't think any of Tottenham's chances were excellent, except the one that we gifted to them. I don't think that they had any brilliant chances, created anything brilliantly. I don't think any of City's chances were like, oh wow, he should have scored that. I think there was a header from Haaland that I'd like him to do better with, and Marmoush had a couple of chances early on that you just look at and think, if one of them goes in, they weren't bad efforts on goal. Vicario pulled a decent save. There was one that was narrowly wide, I think our first goal on goal. But you just look at them and think, if that would have went in, we're talking about fine margins here, it could have been an entirely different game. But it wasn't meant to be. I think City, we looked a little bit nervy, we looked a little bit off it. Look, the thing is, I don't want to go too reactionary. I'm not going to start shouting on here and getting all annoyed about it, because this is a young group of players. It's the youngest squad that City have had out in years on average. It was a very young squad from Manchester City. A lot of new players as well. All four of our new main signings started in key positions as well. You think goalkeeper, middle of the park. You know, these reasons, I'm not saying excuses, but these reasons you can look at this and say, look, let's not get too annoyed. Let's not get too frustrated or on the back too much, because look, there's a hell of a long way to go still, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, yesterday wasn't good. Pretty atrocious by City. Yeah, Tottenham deserved it. One of the things that frustrated me so much though, looking back, is how soft the goals were, how things could have been so different, on another day. It doesn't happen either of these goals. I think the first one, of course, Ryan Aït-Nouri got injured early, and I've seen nothing on his injury, no reports on his injury, so fingers crossed he's okay. I mean, he came off, he walked off, it went like a stretcher, he just felt something, and he tried playing on, fair play to him. But yeah, it was too much for him, and we brought on Nathan Ake, which, he's not bad for a backup, is he? But yeah, fingers crossed Aït-Nouri's okay. It's always horrible to see a player go down injured, have to be forced off injured during a game, early on in a game. It's even worse when they're a new signing as well. So early into the season, second game of the season, it's frustrating. But yeah, best wishes to Ryan Aït-Nouri, and hopefully he's okay. But I feel like with that first goal, that was Aït-Nouri's side. Obviously, he was off the pitch at that point. That was Ake's side. We got hit on a quick transition, a quick break down that side, and you look at it and think, if Ryan Aït-Nouri was there, could it have been stopped? I feel like it's more likely to have been stopped. And that second goal, again, avoidable. On another day, it doesn't happen. Trafford, again, I just don't think he looked up. I don't know. I've seen the angle of it behind him, and you can clearly see that Nico Gonzalez has a Tottenham player right on his back. He's right pressing him, so close to him. It was a poor choice of pass by Trafford, but he might have just questioned himself. He might have just took too long, overthought it, just didn't look up or whatever. There's many things it could have been. He's still young. He's still new. I wouldn't be writing him off by any means now. But yeah, it happens. As I said, another day. Aït-Nouri's there still on the pitch. He intercepts that pass, or he tackles Richarlison, or whatever it is. He handles that situation better than Nathan Ake. He tracks back quicker than Nathan Ake. And on another day, Trafford's pass, he picks a better pass, or Nico doesn't have someone right up him or whatever. So yeah, look, these are little mistakes. They're both goals, I think, came from little mistakes that, as the team gels more together, as Pep and Colo and everyone has more time working with the team, as the season goes on, the players get fitter, the players get more used to being a team, we can iron out these mistakes. And when it gets to the business end of the season, the really important times of the season, then hopefully it's all out of our game by then, you understand? Now look, getting on to a few of the individuals I want to talk about, I think it's probably best off starting off talking about James Trafford. Now look, I'm not going to pile in on him. I'm not going to add to the ridiculous amounts of criticism, too much criticism he'll have already been receiving. Look, as a goalkeeper myself, look, when you've made a mistake. He will know more than anyone that he has made a mistake there. He doesn't need telling, and there's been a lot of people on his back, a lot of this online, I'm not even going to call them fans, because the thing is, it's one of the few negatives of being a successful club, being a massive club, is especially when your club's growing season by season as a bigger brand and just a global brand, you get idiots from all ends of the world online, just absolutely no idea about what the pressures are, no idea of what it's like to play football, never mind for one of the biggest teams in the world on a big occasion. Trafford would have had the weight of the world on his shoulders yesterday. He'd be feeling a lot of pressure. He's so young. He's just come back. His first game back home, Tottenham, an aggressive side. I don't think all this link with Donnarumma would help either. I'm just going to say it. I don't think anyone's mentioned it. And I feel like it's got to be playing on his mind somewhat. He's just joined, and there's a possibility that he might be sidelined for arguably the best goalkeeper in the world. We don't know his future. I don't want to say his future's in jeopardy, but his first team spot is most definitely in jeopardy. So it's got to be playing on his mind. He'll have a lot on his mind, and I'm not going to pile in on him by any means, but I think there's a conversation to be had about the type of goalkeeper we've brought in here. Now, I don't mind it. I don't think City need this ridiculously good ball-playing goalkeeper that everyone's making out to be. I think just City fans are now conditioned in the mind to think, we need an Ederson, we need a goalkeeper who's as good as Ederson with the ball at his feet. We need someone who can pick a 100-yard bout pass straight to the winger's feet, and that's Ederson. Name me another goalkeeper that can do that. I will wait. Name me another goalkeeper. You can't, because there's only one Ederson. There's one supernatural freak of a goalkeeper that can play like this. And City have had the pleasure of seeing it over the years, but there's no one else like him. So yes, Trafford, we don't need him to be as comfortable as Ederson with the ball at his feet, but I feel like he was trying to be too much of what Ederson does. We need him to stick to his game. I understand that with Pep, you've got to adjust to Pep as well, but it just didn't look natural for him. And as I said, he's still young, he's still got time to learn, and he'll adapt. But it just didn't look natural yesterday, and I think that's what it was. It looks like a goalkeeper who didn't want the ball at his feet. He didn't want us to pass him the ball. He sort of, when he was being pressed, it was one of them where he doesn't take a touch and look up and just pick his pass out like we've seen. He'll clear it, get rid of it. And in certain moments, I don't mind that. In certain moments, I'd rather that. One of the things that's frustrated me about Ederson at times over the years is like, he's too cool. He thinks he's got too much time sometimes, and it nearly causes a heart attack, Sometimes it is best just to clear it and get rid. But, yeah, it just didn't look comfortable for me. It looked like a goalkeeper who didn't want the ball. And that's okay for now, of course, but one of the biggest criticisms that people have had for Donnarumma, or City's potential signing of Donnarumma, is how can you have a goalkeeper like that under Pep Guardiola? He doesn't fit the way that Pep wants to play. But after watching yesterday, and I understand that I'm not trying to write Trafford off. I'm not trying to say that, this is who he is, that's that. But I've only got these 2 games to go off. I can't base it off anything else. You understand? I've not watched week in, week out at Burnley, so I'm just going off what I have seen from my own eyeballs. It doesn't look like Trafford's this ridiculous defender, ball playing centre half. You know what I'm saying? Like an Iniesta with the ball at his feet, like Ederson. It doesn't look like that, and that's fine. But is that not the case with Donnarumma? Is that not what everyone's criticism is with Donnarumma? I feel like I'm just speaking for the sake of speaking. I feel like I'm overwording it, but I'm trying to articulate my point well, and I'm struggling. But I don't feel like after watching that, there's that much difference from what I've seen from Donnarumma. Yes, Donnarumma's not a ball-playing goalkeeper, but he's a brilliant goalkeeper as far as stopping shots. He's the best in the world, in my opinion. So I'm at a stage now where I've been on the fence with this Donnarumma and Trafford and Ederson situation for a while. I'd be happy either way, and I stand by that. I would be happy either way. If City keep Ederson and have Ederson as Trafford for this year, that's fine. And I do still feel like it would be a little bit tight on Trafford bringing him in, saying that, look, this year's Ederson, and then for the next 5 after that, it's you. Bringing in Donnarumma would be a little bit tight, but now I feel like I'm more on the fence of just bring him in. Just bring him in. It doesn't seem like Trafford's too ready. And if Ederson's going, just bring in Donnarumma. And that's where I'm at now. So yeah, look, sorry if I've overworded that, overcomplicated that, but my head's scrambled with all of this. There's a lot to think about. This has been probably the busiest transfer window I can remember for a long while for Manchester City. The uncertainty coming into the final week of the window, and it's like we don't know what's going on. We've got no idea who's going to be starting in net. Could we end up letting go of Savinho and bringing Rodrigo in? There's so much to think about still. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence. But as far as Trafford, I won't be writing him off, and I feel for him because, as I said, I know what this toxic online fan base is at the moment. Over the past couple of years, ever since treble season, it's just sort of grown and grown, and it takes one mistake and people just pile on. So I won't be doing that, and I feel like a lot of you lot won't be doing that as well. It's just these few idiots. But I feel for him. I wouldn't be writing him off, and he's just one I think we keep an eye on. But by Brighton, it's a week today. Who knows what the goalkeeper situation is going to be? Ederson was fit yesterday. And Pep decided to go with Trafford. So I'll be reading too much into it. I don't know. He decided on the day that Trafford would be the right fit, and he might have been. I'm not saying I'm not saying we win the game or draw the game with Ederson in it. It would have been a different game. Who knows? We might have lost 4. We might have lost 1. It doesn't matter. The game is done now. It's done. We've just got to look at what we're doing as far as this goalkeeping situation. Because I look at it and I think, I don't know if Trafford's ready. I'm just going to say it. I don't know if James Trafford is ready. Another player I want to talk about is Rico Lewis. Another one that people have been getting on an awful lot. I've heard a lot of people defending James Trafford. Okay, because he's a young lad. Don't be getting on his back. He's still young. He's still got to learn, which I stand by 110%. But don't be saying that and then ripping Rico a new one, giving it all about Rico this, Rico that, digging him out. Rico's younger than James Trafford. So if Trafford's young and you've got to give him a chance, then what's all this about Rico? I want consistency. Look, I don't want anyone digging out and going overboard on any player, criticising any player. It doesn't help, does it? By any means, it makes things worse. But I'm not hearing this. Like, yes, that 90 minutes from Rico yesterday wasn't his finest 90. Okay, I 100% get that. And you compare it to the Wolves' performance, I thought he was brilliant. And I've said this anyway, that I feel like against tougher teams, against top teams, top wingers, I'd rather Kusanov at right back. You need someone better equipped defensively. But we know Rico Lewis isn't that. We know he's not. That isn't what he does. He's a better footballer than any other right back we've got. He's a better footballer than Nunes, in my opinion. He's a better footballer than Kusanov. But I think yesterday, it probably would have been more suited to Kusanov or John Stones at right back or whoever else at right back because they're a better defender. But all I'm saying is Rico's a talented footballer, and it winds me up. He's the one that I think when I see people giving Rico stick, it frustrates me more than anyone because I'm thinking he's one of our own. He's one of us. He's come through the academy. He's a City fan, local fan. He's living our dream. And you're getting on his back. He's a kid. What are you doing? What are you doing? It blows my mind. He's such a talented footballer as well. People singing his praises after Wolves. How flip-flop are we? People singing his praises after Wolves. How good was he? That pass to Haaland, the runs, the movement. It was so good seeing him. He's getting a contract. He's staying. Get in. And then now, never play him again, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And as I said, it's a small minority, but I tell you what, it doesn't half annoy me, that small minority. Wow. Anyway, look, let's lighten things up a little bit, all right? Let's talk about some of the positives from the performances yesterday. I thought Oscar Bob was decent. No one was brilliant, were they? I'm clutching at straws here, but I thought, in comparison to the entire team, I thought Oscar Bob was pretty decent. He did the job. Jed Spencer did a blinder of a game. What a player. I mean, I've been pretty vocal on my thoughts on Jed Spencer, how good I think he is. He's who I wanted at right back. He's who I want. I know he's at left back for Tottenham, but he can play either side, can't he? He's who I wanted, not Livermore. I wanted Jed Spencer. Never materialised. He signed a contract and that's that. He's such a good defender. Such a good defender. I think he would work wonders under Pep Guardiola. That's a shame, If we'd have got him, that would have been unreal. But Bob was good. He had a good game. It was just Jed Spence was arguably unbreakable. Haaland, seen people getting on his back as well because I get, you want him to be scoring. You want him to be in games like that, taking the lead and gripping the team by the scruff of the neck and leading them and getting a goal and, helping us out more in that sense. And he had one chance that I remember that, yes, he probably should have done better, that header. But I liked a lot of his link-up play. I've not seen anyone talk about that. The little dribbles, the passes. He played a good few balls for Marmoush. Marmoush had a fair few chances yesterday early on. They were all Haaland's passes and his touches. And I feel like you can see an improvement if you compare him to that treble season, which sounds daft because that was his best season in the City shirt, of course. But that he's very different. In that season, his touch was heavy. He wasn't used to this whole, passing and moving as much. It was just giving the ball, feed the Norwegian and he will score, feed the goat. But his game's changing from what I'm seeing. Of course, he's still got that lethal finish in him, but I thought just based off yesterday, some of his movement, his passing, his link-up play was some of the best that we've seen of Erling Haaland. So, yeah, if we can see more of that, I'd be very impressed. And Marmoush, I thought Marmoush was decent. It's nice seeing him back as well. I think he's a good player. A great signing in January. One that I think people are a little bit forgetting about. We're looking at all these summer signings that other clubs are making. Look, we've got Omar Marmoush. He's a top player, and I think he'll. Other games, it'd have took them chances. So look, what does that loss mean for Manchester City season? Well, that's that. Call it off. We've lost it. No, we're not winning the league. We're not winning the Champions League. We can't win anything. Pep needs to go. Sack everyone. Of course, it's just ridiculous some of the stuff you see. There's still a long way to go for City, and it's early days, and we traditionally start things off slow. And when it's Tottenham, this shouldn't be that much of a shock. It shocked me because of how good we looked at Wolves and how excited I was and how carried away I got. But on paper, this shouldn't be that much of a shock. We always lose to Tottenham. We always find a way of losing to Thomas Frank. We never start the season brilliantly. We've made a lot of new changes, a lot of new signings. They still need time to adapt and learn. Look, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I still think we'll win the league. I'm still confident that Manchester City win the Premier League, I've seen signs in the Wolves game. I've seen signs in the Spurs game. You compare it to last season, it was an improvement. Hey, come on. 4-0 to 2-0. Works out, doesn't it? But yeah, 36 games to go. 108. Look at that for maths. 108 points still to play for. Yeah, we can go 100 points again. We can do the treble again. Why not? Who's writing us off? No, look, I think we can win the league. I'll stand by that. I'm not going to change my perspective just because of a one poor performance. It's going to happen. Look at our next game though. Brighton away. Tough game. It'll be interesting to see how they get on or are getting on now because at time of filming this, Brighton are currently playing against Everton, and I've got absolutely no idea the score. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on. They'll give us a game. They beat us last season. They were tough. The Amex, it's a tough place to go, really, isn't it? But we need to be better, 100%. If we play like that, then we will struggle most certainly. But it's a learning curve. It's a lesson for some of these new players. Time will come. I wouldn't be panicking. I won't be overreacting. Yes, of course, it was hard to take. It was a tough one. Early kick-off losing ruined my weekend. But it is what it is. We'll be back next weekend, and yeah, let's just keep a close eye on everything that comes off in the transfer window this past next week, because Donnarumma, Savinho coming in, who knows? You look at exits, Ederson, Savinho. Did I say Donnarumma? Sorry, Donnarumma and Rodrigo potentially coming in. Ederson and Savinho potentially going. Gundogan and Akanji weren't part of the squad yesterday due to rotation, Pep says. And I get it. You look at the bench that we had and you think, okay, fair enough. I think he's telling the truth here, because where's he going to fit him? But that's the exact reason that I feel like we could see a couple more leave, because if you can't fit them on the bench and you've still got others, we need to let go of a couple, I think. Kanji could go, Gundogan could go. We will see. Will any of it happen before the Brighton game? I don't know. Another positive, actually, that I will just finish this video off is, of course, we've seen Rodri and Phil Foden come on the pitch yesterday. Nice to see. They didn't make much impact. I'm just going to say how it is. They're probably not fit. Rodri most definitely. There was one moment I watched him track back and I thought, he's not fit. He's not fit. I don't expect him to be either. Look, I don't think either of them will start against Brighton. We'll see when it comes to it. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments anyway. Tough one to take, but it is what it is. City will be back. And look, the next game I'll be at is Derby. Manchester Derby. And I'm not having that. Look, I've been fair. I've been honest. I've not criticised them too much. I think I've spent more time defending City in this video than I have criticising them. But that you can't do that in a Manchester Derby, lads. If you're watching, things change. When it comes to Derby Day, it's a different game. It's a different ballpark. You need to get straight into them. We can't be lackadaisical at the back and pissing about and stuff like that. We need to be all over them like a rash. Want it, hungry, have it. We need to be hurting. Anyway, that'll come. I'm getting carried away here. I'll see you on Saturday for the Brighton preview, unless anything crazy changes. Enjoy your week, people. Thank you for watching. And get behind the boys. Look, let's be positive, eh? Let's hope United lose to Fulham. Come on, City.